Hey, Nocturnal, how are you going? Welcome, welcome. Hopefully my hair's terrible. Ooh, I turned the volume down. Ooh. Yeah, I can't complain. No, I'm just having sound volumes issue. There you go. All right, it's an old headset. Had this thing for years. It's probably finally breaking. Alright, I'm trying to remember where we were last time. So good status. Alright, npm run watch. We were, I think, at the deletion stage. And then I've just got to clean up what needs to be done. And yeah. Alright, and anyway, hopefully you're going well. You're alright? Yeah, yep, alright, cool. Sorry, I'm a bit scatterbrained at the moment. We are going to start this. And we're going to go through and we're going to get this done, dependent if... I think we've got the calls. I don't know why I'm scrolling all the way down. Oh, that was a bit silly of me. Do we have this called somewhere? No, we don't. All right, we're going to have to set that up too. We've also got to set up the what happens in here, the business logic and so forth like that. It'll take me a little while to figure out, and then hopefully we can jump on, because we'll only have 3 streams. Hopefully I'll jump on to doing the rest of the API stuff that I wanted to do, and then from there we've just got to implement next month the story points, which I think, famous last words, won't take too long. And then from there, it is a race to tidy up everything, get everything working, make sure we've got everything how we want it to function before we start working on 0.32, which will be exciting. I think we'll get there in... I'm saying late August, but I have a feeling it'll be early September. Just knowing a few things might happen in between here and there. All right. Which means May's almost finished, so June, July, August, so 3 months. I kind of want to tidy up the rest of 0.31. API included. And the bub I know, how are you going? It's quite hot today, so I have all my air cons on. Oh, fair enough. It is... I don't believe this thermometer anymore. It says it's 19 degrees Celsius. I don't believe it. I've got to get a new thermometer. Oops. I was typing in Amazon to get thermometers. Yeah, I just don't think this digital one's working. Just wondering what you use for background job processing in NearBeach. Is it Celery? Good question. No, we decided not to use Celery because it required me to boot up extra sort of databases and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, no, that makes it a little bit too complicated for people who just want to self-host. I only want people to have a blob, storage, database, and the application itself. I didn't want them to spin up multiple different sort of features. So what we're actually using is Docker's built-in cron jobs. And then from there, we've written custom commands, which you can run from the cron job itself. Ooh, we've hit an ad break. I don't know if you're got ads or not. So I've only half answered the question, so I'll wait until after the ads. So yeah, not too long. Hopefully everyone's going well tonight. I am still setting things up. Yeah, I need a wall modeler. For $2, I mean, yeah, I would buy that. However, I've got to wait for it. No ads for you? Alright, cool. Let me just... I don't know why I wrote github.com and then /GitHub. I'm glad you guys didn't see that. I didn't need to tell you guys either. No, that's fine. This is why NearBeach is open source, so other people can learn how I'm doing things and learn from it. Or either they learn it and they're like, no, that's not the best way. Duplicate tab. Okay, oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the microphone. Oh, I've got to... Sorry, I'm just trying to remember where I put everything. Alright. Ooh, anyway, we are back. Okay, I'm trying to remember where we put everything. I've got the code here. We'll just we'll keep those tabs open. We'll minimize everything. We'll open up NearBeach, and then we'll open up the NearBeach. And then in the management, we've got commands. So we've got a bunch of commands in here. Some of them like initialize objects and stuff like that. We've got the documentation cleanup command in here, and we've got the update this particular command, which got help from Nocturnal. The run scheduler. This is the one which. This is the one I wrote, and essentially it just runs to make and checks to say if there's anything that needs to be created. Yeah, so in our Docker files, which I could probably access from over here, so Docker, I'm going to go new window. So it's been a little while, bear with me whilst I try and remember everything about this. Socks, do you mind? What was it? I know we ran something, and I've absolutely forgot where it was. Oh, the cron-tab configuration, yeah. So we have the cron-tab, and we copied it over. And then once we copied it over, in here we had the Python 3 Ocean Suite manage and then run scheduler. So yeah, that's how we're doing it. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Nocturnal. I need to set up this window properly. I'll just actually I can exit out of that now. So I just saw your message. So yeah. Yeah. So that's how we did it. That's pretty simple, and it can be done on sort of any system too. So you can actually copy that if you didn't want to use Celery. So yeah. I keep hitting the microphone tonight. I am terribly sorry. There we go. All right. I am going to go back to the GDPR wizard, and what we're going to do. So we're going to do delete customer first. Or, hang on, no, we will... I think we'd set this up ready for me to do more than this. Yeah, we set up this. Okay, so this is the end. And sorry, give me a couple of seconds. What we need to do is, from the form, we need to get specific data out of there. So if we go into this implementation, in the forms, as you can see, we've got project, requirement item, and task, which is what we want to loop through. We've also got the object ID and the object type, which is going to be good. We'll need the object type. And that's just going to go over here. So, oh, Max, be careful. There's my cup of tea. Don't you dare knock it over. Some high traffic up here today. We've got both cats, and I've just realized I'm in the dark. There we go. I don't have my video feedback on. And Light, how are you going? Light speed. There we go. It took me a while to remember what the 5p EED is. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. We got both cats here today. So we've got Socks staring at the screen contently. And we've got Max, who's decided to slowly steal the bed. We'll put Socks on. There we go. So where were we? We were gonna, depending what we are doing, actually no, let's just get the data out. GDPR object equals form dot cleaned data, and that will be GDPR object type. I'm going to name this object type just because I like the characters going through. Yeah, it is cheating. And Corpse Jack, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. And for those on YouTube, there has been a redeem of the give cat treats. So in a minute you'll see me just feed the cats. I don't know how this is going to work with both of them on my desk. So we'll figure that out. We'll see what happens. All right, I'll put that there. I've got to redo all my cables. Socks is in close up. I don't know how this is going to work. All right, Socks knows she's got to go into bed. Are you gonna share the bed with Max? You gonna hop in the bed? She's like, no. All right, Socks. There we go. All right, and Max. We'll do some little. And we can see Max has just eaten the treats really fast. And Socks is like, more treats? More? I'm gonna hide these. Because Socks will go after them more. The other day, she jumped on a bird, saw the cat treats were next to the bed, got out of bed and just stood on them and meowed at me. Alright, so we're getting the object. Now, at the moment, we are using if-else, ifs. There are no case statements in Python 3.9. We still have to support Python 3.9 until October. What are you doing, Socks? I need someone to put my tea down. So, that's why we're doing it. So, if GDPR object type equals customer, then what we want is... Actually, no, it'll be... delete custom data. Now... I think I'm going to send those two bits of data through, so the request and the form. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Yeah, so I'll send those bits of data through for the moment. And then elif GDPR object type equals. Now this is organization, and then delete organization data, and then request and form. Once again, we're sending the data through. We're going to access the data in these things. Else if GDPR object type equals, so custom organization, and then we have user, and then delete user data. Once again, request and form. And then, oh, Socks has gone away, but Max is still here. Oh, look at Max. There we go. Making sure he's in the optimal place. And then we're going to do an else. And we're going to send a HTTP bad request. We're going to say object type not found. The end user. In this sort of case, also HTTP, we're going to go return. That's what we're going to do. I've done something wrong. So we're going to return HTTP response. Essentially, the user deleted, or the GDPR object type has been deleted. Done. So this particular endpoint is pretty easy. So these are the ones which will have all the different logic and so forth in there. So we're going to scroll up. I'm going to hit object, and I'm going to hit form. And this is where I'm going to use Python type hints. We've done this before, and I do believe it is supported in 3.9. So we can go, yep, this is perfectly fine. So that is going to be like that, and then what we've got is we've got the GDPR object submit form. Yep. Now it's complaining about there. Or do I need to do that? I think I just need to do that. Oops. Yeah. So we're using the type hints. It'll just make it easier when writing these out. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm having a quick search for my iPad. No, it's right next to me. Because I should have my video feedback. Sorry, trust me not to set up on time. Okay. Done. Perfect. All right. So going in here, we've got the delete customer data. Sweet. So if memory serves me correct, and by doing this, we're just going to go and go localhost. Sorry, I'll go into dark mode. We don't have it in here yet. So we've got GDPR wizard. If we go custom and we go next, and then we search for the customer, we've got a bunch of this data coming through that we need to replace with junk. That's fairly easy to do. we can just replace it with a UID. The thing is, it will be the name, first name, last name, and the email address that will be replaced. So I'm having a quick think on how we would want to do this. The rest of this is pretty easy. This is just object stuff. This is that will be we actually don't use many deletes in NearBeach whatsoever. Actually, I don't know how to delete because we don't do it. We do a soft delete. Ah, cool. All right, cool, sweet. So we want to filter. It's my last app startup failed because I tried to do deletes. Yeah, we're following on soft deletes just because we know people accidentally delete stuff all the time. At least with soft deletes, you can kind of recover the data. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, we use soft deletes, and all the soft deletes are is just a simple flag. It's the isDeleted flag on the tables. And then what we want to do is, in this particular case, we are actually overriding data before we do any deletions of any users and stuff like that, because if you delete a user, it can have a cascade effect, and that's something we're going to discuss when we're actually just about to do 032. We might want to take that functionality out, just because someone could go into the backend, delete a user, and delete a bunch of objects with it. When in reality, you should be not doing that. You should be, yeah, doing a flag. Or if it's GDPR request, doing it through the tool. All right, so we got filter. And what we're filtering for is we've got customer ID. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to flat pack some variables. So we'll have GDPR object ID equals form dot cleaned data, and then GDPR object ID in here. So up here, this will actually be lowercase. So customer ID equals this GDPR object. We're actually going to delete all of those records. So that's low risk sort of deletion. In a sense, if we open up this, let's actually find an object. Let's go into here. Let's go into the customers. When we add in a customer in here, they get added to that particular table, and under the particular task field, it puts the task ID in there, and then under the customer ID, it puts the customer ID, and it's fine if we delete that. There won't be any follow through. App still makes you be able to delete user data, but don't let you delete your user data. Must be nice. Well, fair enough. Yeah. You gotta stop some users from accidentally deleting their data. It sounds really weird, but it does happen. And then what we want to do is we just want to follow it through a delete. And then the final one is delete the customer themselves. So customer.objects.get customer ID equals GDPR object ID, and then that's just a delete. And it's a return. So we've just got to do the project stuff and so forth like that. Problem on your app. We did so much aggregation and data spawned so much other data. The delete needed to spread to like the entire database, and it got complicated. Yeah, no, I can see that happening. And it's also probably why I chose to cascade the delete initially, because if you deleted, let's say, user, that user could have created a bunch of projects and so forth like that, and then all of a sudden you don't have an ID connected to that user properly, and then the front end broke. So yeah. All right, so we now need to get, now the one problem is I've forgotten how to get this data out. So give me a couple of seconds. I am just copying that. Just going to scroll down here. So work selected form, so that's just a form, is valid. Items, cleaned data works. Okay. I don't know what shape the items will be in though. And that's been annoying. And I'm just wondering if I've got the front end connected to the back end. So we're just going to test this out. We're just going to go next. And we're just going to, oops, been using a Mac all day. I'm just going to hit submit deletion. Alright, user action to remove. Yep, it's just because I don't have these actually keyed in there whatsoever. I don't have that. Alright, hang on. This is a very buggy system at the moment, just because we're just building up the foundation first before we do anything. Alright, it looks like we've not got the stuff working. So I can't send it to the back end, so I can't test it. So I am going to do something very, very quickly. I'm going to add in a to-do get list of projects, requirement, items, etc, and loop through and remove. All right, cool. Sorry, I'm just having a quick little think. Let's get the front end working properly first. So it is stating that the user action remove for each is not a function. Okay, cool. Going in here. I thought I copied that. Copy object. Oh, copy object, not copy message. Ah, that's a bit silly. User action to remove. Okay, so user action to remove. Oh, it isn't. It isn't. All right. Let's see where I declared it. Good point. All right. So this is computed. What's actually happened is we've got something upstream that filters into here. If we go over into the, not that one, but the view itself, what we can actually see is, let's open up that, let's close that, let's open, sorry, I need to hit refresh for it to actually pick up the Vuex. We've got the GDPR. If we go into customer, we're going to go next, we're going to go that, we're going to go next, we're going to pick a couple of these. And then we're going to go next and stuff like that. You'll notice in here, user action to remove is an object. All right, I haven't written this correctly. So we've got to go through each key in there. So that's JavaScript loop through object keys. So object.entries, there you go. For const key for I don't know if there's a for each in this sort of case, but that should be okay. There you go. And I'm just going to paste that down there for reference. So what we'll actually have is we'll have object entries, and then we'll have this dot user action to remove dot for each, and then we'll have object for each. When we open up this, we've got key and then value. I think that's going to be object key and object. And then we do that, and then it'll be object dot for each, and then we'll have row, and then data to send dot set, and then it'll be object and key. No, sorry, key and object. Got those around the wrong way. Oh. Alright, I think that's it. Now, oh, we've got npm run watching. Alright, cool. We're going to go back straight into this. We're going to open up our GDPR wizard. We're just going to hit refresh. We have disabled cache on, so everything should be perfectly fine. We're going to select a customer. We're going to select socks fluffy butt. We're going to pick a couple of these. We're going to go next, and then we're going to go deleting customer. And we're going to submit. And we've got a 400. So we've fixed that one bug. We now got a 400. We're going to fix the 400. The 400 will be really easy to do. We just need to go to the URLs. Now we've got GDPR wizard submit, GDPR wizard submit. So yeah, we do actually have it. So it's not 404. We're missing project. So we're missing project data. Saying there's something wrong with project. Now there's two results in there. What I need to do is then I need to go back into the forms. I need to GDPR this required false model multiple choice field. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here Is there a quick way? Yeah, one usage, done, easy. Saves me having to scroll all the way down. So I'm just going to put a breakpoint there. Now, I'm going to also right-hand click and resend. That should work perfectly fine. Get in there. Oh, we've hit an ad break. Terribly sorry. All right, we can see Max here. He's like, what? Say hi, Max. It's like, I was sleeping. Oh, buddy. It's okay. This room will warm up soon. Yeah, he's not on stream that often, this Max fella. Look at him. Ooh, alright. Yeah, hopefully everyone's going well. For those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch, just because of pre-rolled ads and all that kind of stuff that Twitch does. So to stop the pre-rolled ads, we do run ads every half an hour, but don't worry if you don't get any ads, and we do this so no one misses out on any content. So yeah, cool. 3 seconds left. All right, let's get back into it. So we put the breakpoint there. We've hit that, and then what we need to do is we've got to step over. So it didn't work. So we've got the form here. I'm going to open up the form, and we actually have an issue down here. So 6 and 7 are not a valid value. Okay, let's investigate some more. So let's go back here. Let's hit refresh. Let's go customer again, and then let's go socks fluffy butt, and then project 6 and 7. All right, they do exist. However, I think I know what I did wrong. So in here, where we had this mistake before, we've got set. It needs to be append. And that's the mistake. And Rupesh, how are you? Have you done any open source projects with PHP? I have done a WordPress site a while ago, but that we're talking years and years and years ago. Which I kept open source for a while. I think it's been removed. But no open source at the moment for PHP. Nothing wrong with PHP or anything like that. Yeah. I've used Laravel in the past. Absolutely loved it. So, yeah. But yeah, sadly, no open source projects for PHP. Yeah, at the moment, NearBeach is my main one project. I don't have any other side projects. Alright, we're going to go socks fluffy butt. We're going to pick all of these again. We're going to scroll down. We're going to go next. We're going to go deleting customer. And we're going to hit submit. So, it's at the back end. We're going to step over. We've got 6 and 7 is not a valid value. I'm going to hit play. Yeah, it's doing that. Alright, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have the console log this. Because it should be adding them. You know what I did. It's gonna be that. It's gonna be that. Alright, easy done. I think I found the problem. That should. I'm gonna say item or single object. So, yeah, everyone knows what that is now. So, waiting for this to recompile. Won't take too long. Famous last words. Taking too long now. It's definitely done. Let's hit refresh. We're going to go customer. We are going to go socks, fluffy butt, and we're going to tick a couple of these. And we're going to go next, and we're going to type in deleting customer. We're going to hit submit. We've got the back end. It's going to hit there. It's, oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to hit play. Now, we don't actually have a success page, but it's gone to a success page, which is awesome news. Now, we haven't actually done anything. Oh God, I hope I haven't done anything. Whoops, we just deleted the customer. All right. Socks is no longer in the system. I'm just going to put it back in very, very quickly. So yeah, no longer in the system. We're going to go miss socks, fluffy butt. There we go. This should still work. All right, we're gonna go customer, we're gonna go next, we're gonna go socks, fluffy butt. So yeah, there we go, it still works like that. This time we're not gonna delete anything, but what I wanna do is I want to get project equals form.cleaned data project. We want also in here requirement. Essentially all of these fields. So requirement, requirement item, and task. Clean data, requirement item, and task equals form.cleanData and task. Easy done. We're going to put a breakpoint. I'm going to put a breakpoint at the very end. We're not going to process this data, which is perfectly fine. So what we want to do is we want to go next. We're going to go deleting customer. You don't like autocomplete? I've had so many problems with autocomplete in the last couple of weeks. I don't like it. There's been times where I've been typing out, let's say task equals form.cleanData, and I've hit tab and it's come up with something completely and utterly different. Especially with Rider, with .NET. It's been happening way too often for me to sort of trust it at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, and if you have the AI stuff turned on, God forbid, because it will also change stuff that you're not focused on. So I caught it out one time. Let's say I'm on this line up here. I made a change and made a recommendation, and then it actually edited something down here. And it actually put in something incorrect down here, like absolutely incorrect. So I've had to turn that off. All right, I'm going to submit this. We've hit this again. I'm just going to do that. I'm going to hit play. We've hit this. So we've actually got these as a query set. All right. So what we want to do is we want to update just the values in there. I mean, trying. Oh, it sucks. You just want to go into the bed, don't you? You just, aw, come here. You've been trying Super Marvin, Alexium Griffin, and it's inserting so many lines, it still scares me when I'm trying to get used to it. Fair enough. Yeah. Alright, so don't you dare step on the keyboard, Missy. She's like, I meant to be in the center of attention on stream. Alright, so we've got our task, we've got all of that. I'm quite happy with that. Those are just query sets. We can loop through them, which is probably the best sort of solution that we've got to do. The reason being is we've got to extract the content that exists in there for those particular things and replace the string. So it's been a while since I've done a Python string replacement. Like, sucks. Ugh. Alright, so it's just s.replace hello with hi. Alright, that's easy done. So what we want to do is we essentially want to loop through all of these. I ran out of tea. I use .NET all day. Sometimes I come home and I'm just like, how do I do a for each in Python? We're just going to go single project. And what we're going to do is we're going to go single project dot. Now this is why we're not going to do it in a more constructive for loop and all that kind of stuff. We can do this in a very, very smart way. However, because the fields are not generic enough in NearBeach, they will be in 032. Yeah, the field names change and all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to do single project dot, and I keep forgetting what the titles and all that kind of stuff are, and I'm just going to go into the back end. We've broken this. So it'll be called project name equals single project dot project name dot replace, and then it will be up here. It'll be first name, last name, and email. Form dot cleaned data, first name, last name, and email. And then what we're going to do is we've got to get a UUID as a string. So Python UUID as string. So we don't need too much with the UUID. And it might be one of those things that we use in UUID every single time, or some sort of code. Python. Alright, generating a UUID. Okay, we're going to import UUID. That's easy done. We're on line 91. And then my editor is the for. I'm going to quickly look at the different UUIDs over here. Give me a couple of seconds. So source, VM, bin, activate, Python 3, manage, shell, import UUID. And then they're saying it is just as simple as UUID for something like that. All right. All right, cool. Yep. And then it's just as a string. Yep. All right, cool. And we might make it so it's a different UUID for each different. Should be for the one. Sorry, I've just got to think about this process. If we're going to process it, the one problem is having a unique ID to replace everything over multiple different places is not good. We should do it every single time. So we should do that. And we should do that. So we've got the first name, we've got the last name, and we've got email, and that's just for the project name. And then we do that, we paste that in, and we've got to do that for, wrong one, the project description. Easy done. So, after that's all done, gotta save. And that's it. Now, in reality, we could potentially put the UUID dot, all of that in there. That's not the way I went that time. So we can do string UUID.UID for to it something like that. And then we got it different every single time it replaces something. I don't mind that idea, but at the same time, I think this is simple enough. Oh, we've got to put in project description in here. Okay. Socks. Come on. All right. So I think, so yeah, we've got the project name, single project, project name, and then we've got the project description. We're replacing all three fields. Now, in reality, when we actually get this into a generic sort of state, the database, this is just a 2x2 for loop type of situation where you're going through each of those objects and then you're updating each of the different permutations of this. So yeah, pretty simple sort of thing. All right, you can sit on my lap. She said, no, I'm sitting on the table. Nope, you're sitting on my lap. She said, no, I'm gonna jump on the table. All right, so we've got this up. Then we go single requirement in requirement. And we're essentially doing the same thing. So we're creating a new UUID every single time. And then we've got single requirement dot, and this is once again, I'm going to do all of this. And I'm Speedy Alex. How are you going? Welcome back. Ah, it's broken because I've got to do that. Sorry, I've got to wait for this to reload back in. We're going to click on this and it's title and scope that we're actually going through. All right, so sorry, absolutely goldfish time. Requirement title equals single requirement dot requirement title dot replace, and then first name string and then generated UID. We're just going to copy that through because that will be pretty much the same. Email. We're going to copy those 3 lines. I'm going to paste them in. And oh. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. No, not what I wanted to do. All right. Morning for 4:30 a.m. snack time. Holy hell, that is early in the morning. Didn't realize they made at 4:30 a.m. So yes, I haven't seen one in a while. Let's just say that. I am not partying that late, nor am I waking up that early. So yes. Alright, so we've got the requirements done. 101 to 109, that's 8. We're cheating. Oh, hang on. Sorry. I'm forcing myself to use Vim properly. Alright, in here, we actually need to go into the requirement items. Crash early evening, being up since midnight. Paid time off. Oh, nice, nice. So it's going to be a very long day for you, which is good for, PTO. So, yeah. Fair enough. I don't blame you at all. I love a long weekend type of situation where you wake up early on Saturday, you get so much done in the morning, and then at 12 o'clock, like midday hits, you're just like, I'm done. Like, I've done all my chores. All right, so we've got in here requirement item title, requirement item scope. So in here, it's going to be slightly different. I mucked that up. And then it's going to be... And give me a couple of seconds. I know someone followed or something. Just socks is in the way. And thank you very much, CSM101, for the follow. Greatly appreciated. So yeah, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. My desk is an absolute bomb site at the moment. I've got 2 cats on it. Surprising how much space they both take up. So, single requirement item. And that should be it for that one. All right, and then we need 4 single task in task, and then once again generate UID equals UID.UID for. Whoops. Yeah, that's correct. And then we'll have single task dot, and this is where we're going to go down into the tasks and find out what it is. And also realize that we've done this for the 3rd time now. I've been using Macs all day, and I've got the Mac shortcut keys incorrectly conflicting with what I've got right now. So task short description, task long description. So equals single task short description dot replace, and then we've got the first name, and then we've got the string of the generated UUIDs. I'm going to copy that through. I don't know why that tabbed down like that. That was a bit silly. We're just going to port through here. We're just going to type in last name. And then email. I don't know why it's doing that. And then we've got this one where it's going to be long description. All right. So that should be handling all of that. And then what we want to do is we then want to handle the deletion of the client, the customer itself. All right, so for those wondering what's going on, we loop through each of these objects that the user has sent back, being like, yeah, I want you to do a find and replace for that user, and I am going to replace any of the user details with the UUID. So it will do that perfectly fine. It'll happen with the project. So we've got 3 potential bits of data to look for in 2 potential fields. Hence we've got the 6 rows. Once again, once we sort of clarify all of the objects and so forth like that, this will be just a bunch of loops, so forth like that. But at the moment we can't do that because requirement item type, it's complicated. All right, so we've done that. No, you were going to press a button on the iPad. All right, we're going to go over here. We're actually going to do this. So we're going to hit refresh. We're going to go customer. We're going to go next. We're going to go socks. We're going to go next. We're going to start ticking all of these, but I also want to open them up in a new tab. I'm glad my middle mouse button's working today. We're going to go... Don't I have that customer? Oh, they're not connected to anything. Okay, that's perfectly fine. And we got a 500 error. All right, issue with first name. Okay, not a problem. What we're going to do is... I'm going to put a breakpoint there. We're going to right-hand click. We're going to resend this. We've come here. We're going to move forward. So we do have the object ID. Cool. Now, the object submit form. I might be picking the wrong form. Yeah, I've done something wrong. All right, not a problem. We're going to stop this. This is a quick fix. I've made a bit of a boo-boo, a quick one. So I forgot these aren't in the form itself. So what we need to do, we need to do that. We're flat packing everything still. That will be perfectly fine. And then what we need to do is get customer data. We go customer, we go customer data equals customer.objects.get, where the customer ID equals just the GDPR object ID. And then from there, what we want to get is first name equals customer data dot customer first name. last name equals customer data dot customer last name, and email will equal customer data dot customer email. We're just flat packing this just so to make it easy for people. And I'm terribly sorry, we have just started ads. For those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour so people don't get pre-rolled ads when they join the channel. Don't worry, you don't get ads. We tend to do this so no one misses out on any content. For those on Twitch wondering what's happening, why you can't see ads, you just don't get ads sometimes. So yeah, don't worry about it. You just see me having a small little break and solving a Rubik's Cube, like so. So yeah, they're not long. They're around a minute 30. Hopefully everyone's going well. Socks has run off. She's like no longer here. She was upset she couldn't press the buttons on the iPad. And Max is here still, sleeping in the bed. Socks is probably not happy about that because she's like, where are my treats? Where do I have my treats? I'm confused. So yeah. And thank you very much, I am Speedy Alex, for the sub. Thank you very much, greatly appreciated. So yeah. For those wondering what actually happens, all the money we actually get through this streaming channel goes back into NearBeach. We're currently saving up for a UI UX developer. So yeah, and welcome back everyone. So, yeah, thank you very much, I am Speedy Alex. So yeah, greatly appreciated. Alright, so we should be doing this all perfectly fine now. I'm just going to right hand click and resend, realizing that I haven't actually turned back on the server. And then once that's running, resend. Oh. Customer has been deleted. Alright, so if we go back to these objects, we've got socks fluffy butt down there, and if we hit refresh, they should be changed over. Yep. This one with the requirement item has not, but I might have... Requirement item one hasn't. Nor has that one. That one has. Interesting. And the fluffy hasn't either. I had it as one word, fluffy butt. Alright, cool. About saving up for another team. Yeah, so it'll be, yeah. It's UI UX is my weakness, and we kind of need to save someone up. Save money up to actually hire someone who can come in and be like, alright, cool, this is what you want to do, this is how you would improve this, and so forth like that. And make it look nicer, because it's, as you can tell, it's very bootstrapian. So yeah, it'll be nice to do that. Sadly, we won't have enough money to keep them on, but you know, it's just a small little short time. Yeah. Yeah. And considering I've done some learning, I've tried to make this look as nice as possible. This is as nice as I can make it. So yeah, having someone else come in and be like, I would move these around and all that kind of stuff and make it look like this, I think it's quite useful. Alright, so I am going to close all that. Now the replace, I'm going to test one thing. I'm going to go A equals hello world, and then we're going to go A dot replace hello with arg. It's case sensitive. That's why. So Python replace case insensitive. Case insensitive, RE, sub, best good, A, Import RE. Oh. Okay. So it's like import RE. Is it natural? Yes, yes it is. Okay, cool. So yeah, I reckon it didn't actually replace those other ones because of case sensitivity issues. Not a problem. Output, ignore case. Yep. And then we just feed it all the way through like that. I mean, we could do that very easily. Oh yeah, you've got Max. You also got the shock face too. I don't think that's free. So you got Max Shock and Shell Shock. So, yep. And you can also use them for the drop game. So exclamation drop followed by your favorite emoji. I'm going to do amputee Amber. Yeah. Alright, so that is one thing we could potentially do, is to put that in. We'll need to edit the code to do that, which is annoying, but can be done. Grumpy Cat is hilarious, yes. Oh, I got 98.90. Oof. Oof, that was a fluke. Yeah. Alright, so RE compile, RE, alright, cool. Import RE, compile, RE.escape hippo, RE. Okay. Okay, but yep. And then the case insensitivity. So the pattern, replace. Ruby with Python and the phrase. Flags, ignore. Alright, cool. So I'm just going to paste this in here. This does mean we need to actually do stuff, which is annoying. What I want to do is we're at 97, we want to go to 21. We want to find import RE, and then we go back to 97. So all of this will be the same. It's just, we're now changing that. Oh, I don't think there's a quick way of doing it. I think we just got to do it the long way. All right, not a problem. So single project name equals RE sub, and then we're finding the single. Sorry, we're finding the first name. We're replacing it with the string generated UUIDs. And the phrase is going to be single project name. Okay, cool. And then that just becomes last name, and then that just becomes email. So yeah, that's how we would do it. And then now, was it project description? Yeah, project description. Okay. So that will work perfectly fine. Yeah, that should work perfectly fine. So what we're doing is we're replacing the names with some UUID and stuff like that. Now, in this sort of case, what we could do is we could do this individually for all of this, and then we could, no, I'll keep it like that. We've also got to do the same thing for this, and this. Yeah, so I kind of wish I looked up the case and sensitivity thing first, but hey, these things happen. So we got single requirement dot requirement title equals, and then re.sub, we're going to go first name, string generated UUID, and then we're going to go single requirement. I hate when that happens. Dot requirement title flags equals re.ignore case. And then we copy that a couple of times. We're just going to go last name and email. All right. And then we're going to grab all three of those. We're just going to paste that afterwards. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go Control V. We're going to go like this and going to go scope. We're going to go all the way up to here. We're going to go scope. Like so. So then we just need to delete these 6. And then we grab these 6 again. We're going to paste them down here. We're going to delete these 6. And then we're going to go up. Going to do that. This one's a lot easier to do. Except now we've got to do this up here. I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to copy. It's just going to be easier if we do that. All right, easy done. Yeah, that's done. What I'm also going to do, I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to paste it into here. I'm just going to go single task. And we're just going to go like this. And we're just going to go task short description like that. And then what we're going to do, single task short description like that. We're just going to copy that and paste it a couple of times. We're just going to go last name, email. That should be perfectly fine. Copy those 3, paste them down here again, and then it'll be task long description. There we go, that's it. So that should all work now, and I'm going to be happy with that. And hello, Hussein, the dev. Welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. I'm working on NearBeach, an open source project management system. So, yeah. We are currently working on the new GDPR feature. So if a user, let's say a user comes in and is like, I just want all of my data deleted from the system and stuff like that, we can get that done for them without too much damage. So yeah, at the moment what we've done is a find and replace for the user's name, first name, last name, and email, and we'll just replace them in the system. So yes. And then we'll just delete them and stuff like that. So we know this will all work. So I'm happy with the customer. Now the GDPR object ID, we actually don't need that. In fact, oh, that's what we're porting through, GDPR and the form. So yeah, GDPR object ID. Get rid of it there. That's perfectly fine. All right. I'm going to go back to this data down here. What we're going to do, GDPR object ID. Easy done. We don't actually have the ID here, but all right. Easy done. So that's passing through. That will probably be the same for here too. Whether we need the form to go through, we'll figure that out in a minute. Because we might not need the form. We might not need any data from it whatsoever. With the organization data that themselves, that's actually just deleting everything associated with that organization. So it will, that's a cascade itself. And what I mean by that is when you delete the organization, it will also delete the customers. It'll also delete anything that is associated with that organization. So any objects that have been created for that organization. So that one probably doesn't need the form. But we do need to tell the user, hey, these are all your projects that are going to be deleted. This is all the data that's going to be deleted from the system. So, yeah. Alright. Shit, that won't need the form. The user will need the form. Because what we'll actually be doing is, and we haven't actually programmed this in the front end yet, and we'll need to program this in the front end, is we'll need to tell the user, hey, listen, actually no, we're sending the request data through. We won't need the form, we'll need the user. So we'll need the request data. Okay, cool. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember what I was doing and stuff like that. Alright. Going back to this. Now this has all worked. We're all happy with this. This actually gets rid of soft fluffy butt from the system. Let's go. So with the organization, we go next. We then do next. We fetch the data. We actually never get the data. So I'll need to actually implement that. And what we'll need to do. Alright, oh, sorry. Bit of a yawn there. I do apologize. Okay. I'm having a quick think. What do I need to do? I need to fix this. Okay, cool. I can get the delete stuff working. but I would prefer to get this working first. Alright, and another thing which I've been thinking of, we shouldn't make the user go back and forth and stuff like that. Should pick that and go next, and then stick on here. No, I can see people complaining about that. Alright. And then the next, and due to the cascade effect with the NearBeach database, as many objects will be deleted if we just remove the user. To stop this from happening, we'll be using your... Alright, cool, yeah, that's it. That's what we're going to do with this particular one. So I'm going to do the organization delete one, because it's an easy one to do. So what's going to happen is it'll just delete everything that is being assigned, has a foreign key to that particular organization. It just follows through all the way. So we're going to get this data. I'll tell you what, I should just right hand click and go to implementation, like so. What this does is we'll just have the GDPR stuff. We won't need the form. We also won't need the form for this particular one either, but we'll need the request. In here, what we'll actually have is organization.objects.get, where the organization ID equals GDPR object ID, and we just go delete, like so. And that's a cascade. That's it. All done. It's this one down here that's going to take a little while to do, because we've got to actually hit every single, pretty much every single table in NearBeach, and go, oh, you don't want to delete this. So yeah. Okay. Also having a think. Okay, cool. Anyway, going with this one, what we want to do is remove all. Doesn't even name it Bobby Tables. And how are you going? Big strong Rouge. Hopefully you are enjoying my content. Welcome. And thank you very much for the follow. Assign the dev. Welcome. So yeah, we're just working through this slowly. So remove all object associations first, because we don't need to do anything with the object associations. Over here, programming myself, sometimes it's just nice to watch other people while I think, oh, fair enough. Yep, I do the same thing too. And thank you very much for the follow, Big Strong Rouge. So yeah, greatly appreciated. And I see we got another little milestone, which is awesome. I didn't read it. Trust me not to read it. So yep. It's not coming up in the activities. No. Ah, boo. Ah, well. So we'll remove all the object assignments first. So that's just object assignments.objects.filter. That's where this is where I got to look at the database. Sorry. Because there's a couple of fields that use the user field. We're just going to put the database over here. I'm just going to do this. We're just going to open up this. Come on, open up. We've got the NearBeach object assignments. I'm just going to close that. So we've got date modified, date created, date modified, easy done. Assigned user ID is the one we want. And that will be the GDPR object ID. And we just delete those. We don't need to modify them. We're like, all right, cool. Just get rid of all the assignment for this particular user. That's perfectly fine. What kind of project management system? So it's just a basic sort of project management system. I will shove that off to the right. So you can get basic sort of organization, customer details into here. From there, you can gather user requirements and break them down into requirement items. Think of those as user stories. You've got the Kanban board. You've also got the ability to sort of create projects and tasks. So, for example, those requirement items might need to be broken down into either a project or a task, or both. And then when you're ready to deploy, we've got requests for changes. So, yeah. All right, so oh, fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, what's your stack, if you don't mind me asking? All right, go through each table in NearBeach and for the creation / modification user, change to current user. All right, sweet. So what I want to do is, I don't know how to do this easily. So if we have a look at the models, there are going to be a lot of tables in here. So you've got like the bug model table, you got the bug client table, you got the change task table, and so forth like that. So, yeah. The customer and all that kind of stuff. And as you see, change user, we should name that to change user. For the creation / change user, change the current user. All right, cool. Python, essentially using project planner agent that orchestrates from an agent registry and delegates tasks to build a project from a user goal file. Okay. Or MC, I'm terrible with acronyms, so I don't know what those acronyms mean. I made a new protocol agent as in MC tool protocol. Okay. Fair enough. So, yeah. Alright, with this. Got that, we got the... I'm gonna close all those tabs. I'm gonna open up this. I'm gonna go Django, get a list of all tables from model. MCP is Model Context Protocol. Essentially, it gives agents the ability to call tools like API / file systems, utilities, CLI, etc. Ah, okay. Sounds interesting. So yeah, we do have a Discord if you wanted to post your project there, if you can. Extracting a list from the database. All right, cool. New Django, and I'm using it for a school project. I need help. I started to create a site with Django, and I'm currently working on the database. I've created models of the database, but I now have a problem. I want to extract a list with specific data. All right. Probably not what I wanted. How to get all table names in Django app. I use the following code, but it doesn't have... Alright. Apps, import apps, tables, mtable to... From Django connections. Alright. All the model names on a per app basis. All right, that's probably what I want. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to paste over here. we're just going to hit enter. That's perfectly fine. A2A is agent to agent. Google released it maybe a month ago, and you define agents with YAML files, and it allows them to share their communication cards. Ah. Anyway, ad break. So yeah, welcome everyone to the ad break. For those on YouTube, we essentially run ads every half an hour on Twitch, so people don't get ads when they join the channel. They're called pre-rolled ads, and they're really, really annoying. Whilst we are running the ads, we tend to pause our stream so no one misses out. Don't worry, you don't get any ads whatsoever. For those on Twitch that don't get ads, well, you get to just see me do this. So yeah. Hopefully everyone's going well. We've got Socks, who has come back, probably begging for treats. And Max is still in the bed, but he's fast asleep, and Socks refuses to sleep next to him. She isn't the cuddly type of cat. So, yeah. She sleeps on top of me. She loves to cuddle with me, but yeah, she doesn't cuddle with any other person. She overheats, I think. She doesn't even like hot rooms. She goes to the bedroom where it's cold. So, yeah. And we've got about 10 more seconds with the ads. Couple of seconds now. We might as well switch back. And welcome back, everyone. Alright, so we've got an error in here just because it was like that app didn't exist. That's perfectly fine. So app models equals apps.get app config, and then we're just going to put in NearBeach in here .get models. All right, and then if I go for a in app models, and I just do a. Oh, all right. For a, no, I'm just going to go a equals app models. I'm going to grab the first one. Oh, did I? Oh, I can't get to the first one. I can share some logs if you want to see how it kind of runs. It's a private Git right now because I'll contemplate. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. So, yeah. Alright, so we've got to get that additional reading, get another recommendation. So, models, app name, returns a dictionary of all the models you defined. Ooh. Alright. So, do we have apps? Yep, apps. What was it? All models. And then we'll go NearBeach. And then we get something like that. And yeah, if we go in here and we just type in bug and we get the class, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go .objects.filter. I don't think that will work. Ooh, all right. So we can do this pretty easily. So I'm just gonna, for apps and apps model, oh, yep, I meant that. Big boo-boo there. Alright, what did they do? .get models. Alright, I'm just going to do that again. What I'm going to do, A equals, I'm just going to paste it in. Oh. just going to do that. And then we're going to go for B in A, and then b.objects.filter. And there we go. And that's what we want to do. All right. So going back over here, we're going to cheat. We're going to do that. We're not going to add in every single model possible. That's just not feasible at all. As you see, these are all the ones I've created. So they should have those particular fields on them. And what I'll do is I'll check to see if a field is in a model. So if I go, let's say B equals let's go B equals bug.objects. Bug. All right. We're just going to check if the field exists. MCP would be sick for this, which is the Model Context Protocol. Okay, fair enough. I don't think I've used anything for that before. Okay, they've has attribute CLL. Will not work in all cases. For example, where mixins are used. A safe test is this, or accept path if you can get the attribute to return a default value if the field does not exist, like below. Yeah. Now, the one problem I know at the moment, and there will be a bug for this, is I haven't been consistent all the way through, and I know a couple of tables won't have change users. So that's why I want to actually check for this. Yeah. So that's why. For example, where mixins are used. All right. Okay, so if let's clear all of that. Let's go from NearBeach.models, import everything. We're just importing everything. And we're just going to go project.hasAttribute title. No, there's no attribute. Field exists. No. It's new but super straightforward to work with, and nice letting an agent run all the queries on your database. Okay. I don't know how I would connect that into NearBeach, because currently we've built our own sort of authentication, because the idea being is there's multiple different objects. There's also a child object inside NearBeach. So we've got what's called permission sets, and these are stackable. So you can have essentially everyone having like a read-only one to start off with, but then add in certain permissions. So for example, you might want them to be able to edit projects for another group and so forth like that. So for example, you've got admin permissions, you've got customer and organizations, you've got object permissions, and then you've got the extra permissions where you don't give them any object permissions, but you might want them to be able to upload stuff and so forth like that on NearBeach. So yeah, and it gets a little bit more complicated than that, because once again, there's also groups. So a particular object can be assigned to multiple different groups of people. So you might have multiple different departments working together on a single project. And you might want to be like, all right, for this particular group, we want them to have this sort of permissions and stuff like that. So yeah, we're trying to be flexible with the permissions. At the end of the day, it's just a Venn diagram, and it picks the biggest number in the middle. That's all it does. So yeah. All right, so we're going to go through each table. We've got to find out if it has that attribute. So I'm just going to copy that. No, it doesn't have a field exists type of thing. I know Python has ATR. That could work. So object and name. So if I go has ATTR, and then I type in project and I go title, that will be false. Now if I go like this and go project title, that is also false. However, if I go in here, hang on, is this one I wanted? Let's find a project. Project name, not title. It's true. All right, this will work. So, it's going to be ugly. And once again, we're going to fix this up when we go to 032. We're going to go through the database and make a couple of changes. We're going to neaten it up. We're going to also have a base model, which everything will inherit, which will contain all the fields that are relevant on every single table. So yeah, we're doing a massive sort of cleanup. Yeah, it's going to be great fun. Hopefully we won't need a migration plan like we did from 029 to 030. So yeah, base models, yep. They're coming in. They're coming in. That's actually a nice design. I like that. Yeah. So I kind of like it because it gives flexibility. NearBeach is also designed with collaboration between departments. So a lot of the times, so I worked in IT for a little bit on this one particular, just working on this one particular software. I wasn't writing it or anything like that. I was supporting it. And essentially, if a ticket came through and I needed someone else to actually do something, I needed to actually assign that ticket to that team, call up that team, talk to them through the ticket and stuff like that. And then they would take off the ticket, and then I would have to write down that ticket number somewhere. So that way, if I needed to pick it back up again, I could look, reference it and be like, all right, cool, it's this particular ticket and stuff like that. NearBeach is designed where you can just add in that group, and then you can help assign they can assign users to it, and you can be like, all right, cool, we're collaborating across departments. There's other cases where you'll have, for example, project deployment and stuff like that. If you're ever setting up, let's say, a new website and stuff like that, you'll need the database team to work with you. You'll need the VM team and all this sort of other teams working together. You kind of need something where you've got a project and you can be like, all right, cool, we're all working on this one little project. Here's the requirements and requirement items. All right, cool. Here's all the tasks that are assigned to this particular project. And then you can actually just assign the individual sort of group or multiple groups for each of those tasks and keep everyone at the sort of project level and stuff like that. So yeah. Taken me years to get here. So yeah, it's hopefully the idea makes sense to people, and then hopefully they're like, this is what we actually need, and they start using it because of that. And yeah. All right, so yeah. And the idea is, because it's group-based and so forth like that, you can do some wonderful stuff with it. So, for example, you might want to groups, let's say you've got the database group. You might want to create a couple of different permission sets. So database read-only, database edit, and database create. Or database full permissions, I should say, not create. That will get a bit confused, that name. And you only want to actually add read-only. You could potentially set that up so you can be like, all right, cool. I'm going to add in the database read-only group that has all the team members for the database in there because someone manages that. And they've only got read access to this particular project. So, yeah. All right, going through each table. Now, we know that has attribute works, so we're going to also know that this particular functionality works. So we need... Now, the one problem is I don't know if we need this and this. I'm assuming we just need this. And what I could potentially do is I could exit out of this, double confirm it. So we need from Django apps, import apps. Oops, that's meant to be apps. And then what we're going to do, apps, get app config, get models. We're just going to go actually no, apps dot get config. Sorry, I have a terrible app config. I have terrible memory sometimes. Get app config. This will be from NearBeach, and then get models. All right. So if I go a equals that, and then I go a dot, and then it should be. Oh, it'll be the for each in here. So for b in a, and then it'll be as simple as has attribute creation user. Sorry, it is going to be B. I think it's creation user. There you go. And then we got a bunch of trues and falses and stuff like that. So if I didn't make it, then database creates is the only option. Oh, fair enough. No, don't worry about. I wonder if I could use this with my agentic anonymous dev team. I'm moving up one abstraction layer soon, where the 13 agent swarms can work in distributed clusters and use A2A communication to the A2A server and share ChromeDB at the same time. HTTP endpoints. NearBeach automatic dev teams management. So yeah, there's a lot I want to actually extend on NearBeach. Like, I want to be able to also add in bug tracking. So I don't know if you've ever used HP Quality Center. It's called something different now. It got bought up by someone else and then sold off, and then all that kind of stuff. I kind of want to build something sort of similar. So a massive sort of quality sort of center type of thing where you can place all your bugs in there. You can also place in all your written tests. So back in the day, we used to do the method and then expected results, what we expect at each step, and stuff like that. GitHub, etc. Okay. SWE agent enables your language model of choice. Oh, fair enough. Yep. To autonomously use tools to fix in real GitHub repositories like finds. I wouldn't mind that, because that's also one of my weaknesses and stuff like that, and I rely heavily on other tools to help me out with that. Confirm any custom task. Okay, cool. It has like 15% solve rate and submits PRs with solves. Okay. Oh, neat. Anyway, I'm going to quickly copy this code. And what we're going to do is we're going to have NearBeach tables equals this. And then we're going to loop through the table. So for single table in NearBeach tables. Now I am on line 162 from Django.app. Whoops, I spelled that wrong. Apps, import, apps. Alright, what was... I forgot it already, God. Sometimes my memory just absolutely goes out the door. So we're down here. So that in that. So we've got condition 1 equals has attribute in single table. And we're going to find what the attribute is. We're going to copy that and paste it into there. And we're going to have has attribute 2. There's a reason why we're doing this. This is going to look ugly until we're at 0.32. I will come back and refactor this. Trust me. I'll be going through my code like there's no tomorrow. There's a lot of things I want to do with my code. Yeah. So, with this one... The capper is for the refactoring later. I will. Trust me. One day. Condition 1 and condition 2. Then we're going to add code. Otherwise, it'll be elif condition 1. Add code. And then elif condition 2. Actually, that should just be an else. Actually, no, elif condition 2, just in case they both fail. And then add code. So I've got to double check the naming convention. So in here, it will be change user and creation user. So yeah, this is the one table which I didn't put in creation user. I should have... This whole entire database structure is old. Let's just say that. It was created 8 years ago. I should have deleted it 4 years ago. And for those wondering what happened, actually no, nearly 5 years ago. 4.5 years ago, I decided to delete 95% of NearBeach, to rewrite it because I had learnt so much. And I wanted to apply what I had learned. Yeah, so what actually happened, I deleted 95% of it, should have deleted the database too, because that would have forced me to rewrite and rethink about a lot of this. And I ended up keeping a lot of CRUD in the database, not the good create, read, update, and delete CRUD, I mean terrible CRUD. Yeah, so there's still a lot of issues with the database, and that's what we're going to actually fix up in 0.32. It will most likely be a breaking change. Oh, it shouldn't. I'm hoping it's not going to be a breaking change, but just in case it is, and we need a migration plan, we can do that. In fact, I think we still got the old migration plan. Like it's old. Like. Upgrading database, yeah, this old thing. Like this, I wrote this yonks ago. So yeah, you had to download the database files, always back up your database. You had this sort of changes and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was a massive sort of Python script to get it to work, and it took me forever to write. And I'm hoping I don't need that. And I'm hoping that when we get it to work, it just works. So, yeah. Anyway, getting back into this. We've got the has attribute. Oh yeah, we wanted, oops, wrong way. We wanted this particular field. Now I'm copying and pasting so I don't make any mistakes. So we've got that. So if both conditions are true, what we want to do is we'll have the single table dot, oh, we need queues in here, 169. Oh, we do have queues, 169 dot filter. Oh, dot objects dot filter. Oh, so you want to hop in the bed, but Max is in there, and you're like, oh, I don't want to fight Max. See, there's a little bit of space here, sweetie. She's like, no, screw that. All right. We need a queue. Oh, don't. And thank you very much for the follow, Miss Kink Oki. So yeah, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. Oops, that's meant to be a queue. So we want to do this. We also want to do that and that. And then we want to have change user equals request.user. Actually, no, not request.user. We want the change user equal to, oh, this is the user that we need to get. So that will be the user ID. And that will be the GDPR object ID. Here's now I rewrite my database. Processing batch 6 out of 40 with 100 chunks. Fair enough. We don't rewrite our database often. We do add things in and so forth like that. But yeah, it's very rare that we haven't had a structure change in a while. So yeah, adding in the base model for all the required fields over everything is going to be the big change. And then what we're going to do is we're going to break up this file. So we're going to go in and break everything up. So for example, the document stuff will probably be in its own file. The folder stuff will also be in its own file and stuff like that. So we're going to try that because this file is huge. This file is 2051 lines long. It's getting quite large. And then if we want to implement more and more sort of features in NearBeach, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and yeah, it becomes a problem. So in here, we've got that, and we're all happy with it. And then what we want to do is we want to update it. So we're going to go change your user equals the request.user and the put change user in both time, and the creation user is the request.user too. And that's it. So we're updating that purposely, so when we delete the user, it doesn't cascade. Yeah, my orchestrator was like that yesterday, and a bunch of nested discussing this yesterday. Fair enough. Yep. PyDepth / Pyan3 and spaghetti SVG refactored the whole. Fair enough. Yep. So yeah, I do like a good refactor. So single table dot object dot filter. This one, all we need to do is change user ID equals GDPR object. That's all we need to do. And then the update will be the change user ID equals the GDPR object ID. No, sorry, the request user. That's that. And then this is the last one. This will be the creation user. I'm just going to minimize this so I can see both. So single table dot objects. I made a mistake. Objects there. Objects dot filter. And I made another mistake up there. And this is creation user ID equals GDPR object project. Yep, and we're happy with that. And then we go update, and then we go creation user equals request.user. So yeah. For 2K lines though, yours is like ASMR levels of neat. So there's that. Yeah, it is not overly bad. It's not the worst code I've ever had. So yeah. When I don't know if you're in ads at the moment, but when I first before I deleted 95% of my code, I had a Vue file that was, I think, 20,000 lines long. It was ridiculous. And the problem is I made more bugs in it by trying to fix other bugs because I always ended up with the wrong piece of code. So, yeah. It was unmanageable, that Vue file. I'm glad I got rid of it. Yeah. Then again, some of the files in NearBeach are getting quite large. So, okay, we've done that. And we're almost finished with the ads. We're about 20 seconds off. For those on YouTube, yeah, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch. Yeah, just because it's pre-rolled ads. Don't worry, you don't get anything. Can I do this so no one misses out on stuff? And you guys get to see me do it, solve a Rubik's Cube, so, you know, there's always that. Yeah, alright. I think the ads are over. Ads are over! Alright, welcome back everyone. So yeah, we've pretty much done this. It will need to be tested, but we're probably going to actually not do that tonight, and we will probably set this up with a unit test. Yeah. Just to make sure that certain objects are not deleted with this. And so forth like that. But I'll need to actually set up the unit tests and all that kind of stuff with the fixtures. Just alright, cool. Alright. That should be the GDPR wizard. Now done. Oh, that's exciting news. So yeah, it just needs to be tested and so forth like that, but I won't do that tonight. I'll need a fresh brain for that. So I can at least go into here. We're going to remove static. We're going to go git status, git branch. What branch? We're on a feature branch. Yeah, we're on the feature GDPR. So yeah, getting close, getting close. So what I want to do is I want to git add, git commit, and then final proof of concept for GDPR wizard. So for those wondering why I'm looking weird around like this, I have socks in my way. So yes, I've got to see around her head, her fluffy head. She's like, what? Well, I've got a lovely head. What are you talking about? Alright, so GDPR wizard is done. In the sense that we've got to test it and so forth like that. But we can state that we've got the POC ready for this particular month. We've still got like a week left, or 3 streams worth of this month. We are going to jump onto the API tonight. But before we do that, I want to do one little tiny thing. For those wondering, I have a whiteboard behind me. And if you ever wondered what's on the whiteboard, because I got a really bad webcam, I've got to buy a new one which socks won't break. We have a list of things I want to achieve. And on here we got GDPR wizard. I'm going to cross that off because it's ready for bug testing. and it's ready for essentially almost ready for deployment. So we've got a couple of things left to do. We've got the story points, we've got the Docker testing workflow. We also just have the child items for the API. So getting excited. All right, so yeah, the story points and the Docker testing workflow, that actually just needs to be opened up for discussion and then documented. So a couple of, I think last month though, I think it was, we accidentally released a couple of releases that broke because the Docker build failed to sort of build on users' computers and so forth like that. So we need to review that process, make sure that can't happen again. So yeah. All right. I love crossing things off my whiteboard, and I can cross a few things off on that thing now, and I'm like, yeah. I still got to do the Warner Brothers DVD rot. Find out if any of my DVDs are going to have problems. Lack of time. I've got a project management system. At least I'm using that. So yeah. All right. Actually, I'm going to do that because I realized remove old code. Alright. It's more satisfying when it gets crossed off the physical board. Yes. Yes, it's cathartic. It's like the good old days where you used to hang up on people. Alright, I'm going to close all tabs. We are going to close a lot of these. We are going to minimize this. We're going to go git checkout develop. All right, we're going to pull everything that's coming in. We're also going to double check GitHub for a second. Yeah, I miss hanging up the phone. We don't have, looks like we don't have any pulled requests or anything like that, so that's great news. I am just going to go to dev, just in case. Actually, no, the pull request would also belong under there. All right, cool. Yeah, sweet. I'm also just checking one quick thing. Bear with me. I'm doing this because it could be a security issue being flagged, but it looks like, no security issues or anything like that. All right, cool. Just the usual sort of stuff. Sweet. I've got to go through that on the weekend. Sorry, the GitHub announcements I just went through. Up here. Notifications, not announcements. Notifications. And I thought I clicked away from it. Thank you very much. I did click away from it. Oh well. Alright, so we're happy with that. We're going to open up this. We are, yep, everything's up to date. Now, under NearBeach, we've got our views, and then we've got our API. And then from here, we've got the Sprint View API. So, little background knowledge, just so you guys know what I'm talking about. So, we've got objects in NearBeach. They can be projects, they can be tasks, they can be Kanban boards, they can be requirements, they can be customers, they can be organizations, and so forth like that. All, and requests for change. Quite a number of objects in there. However, some of those objects have child objects. So the Kanban board has Kanban cards. The requirements have requirement items. The requests for change have change tasks, and so forth like that. So what we need to do is we need to implement these child items. Now, if we go to nearbeach.org/blogs, and we go to our goals. So the GDPR wizard, we're done. I'm going to add in a particular thing in a bit later. So we've got the Kanban cards, requirement items, and change tasks that we want to complete. And what does that entail? That entails us copying what we did for the sprints. So the sprints themselves are a weird sort of object. They're not quite a child object, so they don't actually sit under one child. However, they sort of gather their permission from the object that they've been connected to. And that kind of works how the child object sort of gets their permissions and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to have a reread of the what we did for the sprints, and we're going to remember how we're going to tackle these 3 API endpoints. So yeah, shouldn't be too hard. Famous last words. Shouldn't be too hard. Alright, so in the sprint view, we've got the create, we've got the serialize, the data, and all that kind of stuff. So we've got the sprint serializer. I'm just going to open them up where we'll read them in a bit. This is the create, what it does, destination, location ID. Now it uses the check sprint permissions. In this sort of case, check API sprint permissions. In which case, these are specific permissions for the sprint. We'll also have to add in our own permissions and stuff like that. However, we could potentially hijack we could hijack the permissions that that we've already written. The good news is that should work for most cases. However, now that I'm saying that out aloud, it could be one of those sort of cases where we're dealing with a case where it is the parent object we're actually got to look at. Which, hey, it's fine. Alright, so just solve that. So, going back with this, with the sprints, with the create's pretty easy. Alright, cool. We're happy with the create. The destroy. Yeah, we're pretty happy. Oh, sorry. We're pretty happy with that. I am going to actually open up, because I do want to check out the permissions and stuff like that. So the destroy, pretty much similar. So we got the serialized data coming through, so forth like that. I'll have to have a look at the serialization. Then from the serialization, we get the location and the destination. I think one thing we want to do, sorry, I'm going back to this, with the child objects, when we delete something, we want to check for the destination, the location, and the parent's ID. And the reason for that is we want to double check that the user's deleting the correct object. And this is what we've been doing in other places too. So instead of, in other places, in fact, we don't use destination location ID. We use the ID of the object assignment. And then the parent's location ID and the parent's object, or destination I should say. The reason being we do that is we're double checking that the user has access to that, and making sure that they're keying in the right thing. So if they're like, alright, cool, it's for this particular project and it's this particular ID, And if they mistype the object ID or anything like that, it turns back a 400 result, thus making it a little bit more safer for people to delete stuff. So yeah, annoying, but a little bit more safer. So we get the thing, we get that, we double check it. So there's where we're double checking. We then soft delete, and then we send back a no content, and we're all happy, and we're like, yay. All right, so with the lists are read-only because we know the permissions of the user and we're only going to grab what they need. In this sort of case, this is for the sprints. For the Kanban board, for the Kanban cards and stuff like that, you'll need permission to the parent object. So we will be getting the parent object data and checking the permissions against that. Isn't that right, Socks? She's like, yeah. Then we got retrieve. Yeah, that's pretty simple. And then update. So yeah, that's all our CRUD. We got URLs for this. So we've started splitting up our URLs. You'll notice that we've got URLs plain, so that's the basic sort of NearBeach sort of URLs. We've got the URLs API version 0. We'll have actually version 1 when we go to 0.32. After all the database stuff is done, we're porting over the database to version 1. So we're going to make sure everything works perfectly fine first. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of unit tests being written up between now and the start of that, because the instant I start refactoring it, I need something to fall back on that is a safety net. And the two-factor, and then we also got utils. So yeah. All right, so we've opened up the API, this particular one. I'm going to put this over here. We don't have any of the child stuff in here just yet, and that's perfectly fine. So Kanban card, we'll start with the Kanban card because it'll probably be the easiest one, hopefully, to do. And it will, very much like Sprint, it will be its own thing, because we'll also need to use it for these particular cases down here. So these are part of the groups and users sort of CRUD, the links, the notes, object sprint API, and tag lists and all that kind of stuff. We've also got available data, but that's for everything. So yeah. All right, sprint permissions. Yeah, that's just basic sort of permissions. We'll figure this out as we go along. All right. And once again, we're going to refactor the permissions because once again, a lot of the complexities that we had with the permissions was because of how we're doing it in the system. And yeah, considering we're moved to the API, a lot of that complexity just disappears and we can go, all right, cool, the API has all this data coming through on it because the user's got to put it through. So we can create specific permissions for those particular cases and make it as generic as possible for all the generic sort of cases. So yeah. It'll be good. It's 0.32 is going to be a big jump. But you always say that with our, you know, our giant leaps. 0.29 to 0.30 was a massive jump. Actually, 0.30 to 0.31, that was okay, that one. That wasn't a massive jump. So yeah. Sorry, I'm now reminiscing about olden days. Yeah. Alright, so we've done all that. That will be perfectly fine. And then with the sprint serializers, we import what we need. We don't need those two in here, but that's perfectly fine. We'll get rid of them in a minute. And then we put through the serializers. Yes, we split stuff out. And then we've got the serializers. Yeah, we have multiple different layers with this one. All right, cool, easy done. I'm gonna say let's get started. Let's just close other tabs. We'll start with this particular one at the moment. We're gonna go scrolling up. We are going to keep it at the same level as everything else. So we're gonna have Kanban card API view.py. And it's gonna be, how are you going? How's your week been? Now I'm going to open up the Kanban board. I'm just going to put it over there for the moment, just because we'll need some reference. It's been a little while. From REST framework dot generics import get object or 404. We'll definitely be using that in a little bit. We'll also need to use the API permission stuff. Because as a child object, we might actually need to look at the parent of it. Which is going to be annoying. Alright, I also need Postman open. So, yeah. Okay, so we've got Postman open. If it hasn't deleted all my data again, hopefully it hasn't. What we could do is we can look at what I've done for sprints in here. So we've got the sprints, we've got the team leader, we've got the get, so we've got the permission going through. With the body, we've got no data. Now that will be a 4 or 3 forbidden because of the token and stuff like that. Your weight is 188 pounds. Now I think we divide that by 2. Is that going up or down? Wait, let me click it. 85. All right. I wish I was 85 kilograms. I keep forgetting if you're my height. Alright. Sorry, drop in there. Drop in the cube. Alright, so from the REST framework, 109. Okay, yes, I'm like that tiny bit taller. Just that's. Alright. 85's okay. You'll be skinny. But yeah, no, it's increasing, isn't it? So it's at a stable point yet? Is it good news? Is what I'm trying to ask. Alright, I'm going to import the decorators. .check user permissions .api permissions version 0, and then we'll go check user API permissions, and we'll probably import that one too at the moment. And then from NearBeach.models import, we want to import the Kanban board and the Kanban card for the moment. I don't think we need anything else. And then what we want to do is also import the view set. So from REST framework, import view sets and statuses. We also need response, so from REST framework, response, import response. And then we need the class, and this is going to be called Kanban card view set. Increasing, good news. That's great. So yeah, 85 pounds? Not 85 pounds, sorry, 85 kilograms. What was it? Pounds, 2 kilograms. 88. Oh yeah, 85 kilograms. Yeah, no, that's good. I wish I was that that. Instead, whew. Yeah, let's just say I'm 40 kilograms heavier. Not proud. 85 pounds would be very concerning. Let's just say that. That would be 40 kilograms. Oh. Yeah, you'll be extremely way too skinny. So, yeah. So, we've got the view set, and then we got view sets dot model view set in here. We're going to set up the query set and serializer class. And then that'll be query set equals the Kanban card dot objects dot filter is deleted equals false, because we only want to deal with stuff that isn't deleted. We haven't created a serializer class yet, and we're going to do that right now. So I am going to essentially go up here. We're going to open up our serializers. We're going to open up our Kanban board serializer. We're actually going to copy it, and we're going to cheat a little. We're going to paste, and we're going to go card serializer, and we're just going to import it. So we need to start changing this. So, have been loaned as 62 kilos. Holy hell. Yep, that's, oof. I don't think when I was like 19, I was really skinny. And I think I was just 6 foot, and I was 62 kilograms then. So, yeah. I was a late grower. You're short, so it's okay. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. So, yeah. You don't have to be afraid when you sit on a chair. Let's just say that. The amount of chairs I have broken, I'm actually surprised I haven't broken one in a little while. Is just phenomenal. Like, when I was working at the university, it was every 6 to 12 months I would break a chair. Just because they weren't rated for people as heavy as me. Let's not lie. So, yeah. Tell the ladies you're 6'4", fair enough. At my last job, I was sitting on the chair, and I'm glad I don't have the shoulder problem I have now when this happened. And I was talking to a co-worker, and there was a massive sort of twang noise, which usually indicates I'm going to get thrown off the chair. And then the chair proceeded to throw me off it, and I landed on the cement. And at that particular point, I rolled the chair away and grabbed a wooden kitchen chair and sat on that. If you're actually wondering what I'm sitting on right now, I'm sitting on a stool, which probably is about to fall apart. That I got when I was 16. 6 foot -4. I love it. I love that joke. I'm gonna have to tell someone else. So yeah, that is actually a good joke. Alright. So we've got the Kanban card serializer. We will actually have the column property in the serializer. We'll have the column title in the serializer, because that's where they go. That data will be needed for the user. Will it be required? Oh, this is a good question. I'm gonna say no, because if we have a look at the Kanban board itself, let's go to find objects. Oh, we're not running it, are we? We've probably broken something. Let me just rerun it. 7 foot minus 8. Yep. I've broken something. Cannot import the. Okay. I'm just going to delete stuff. There you go. All right, now that should work. Error name, Kanban card serializer. Did you mean column serializer? All right, this is, yeah. Hang on a moment. We've already got all this. We're just going to delete it. All right. Sorry, it looks like we do actually have this already. So we go in here. I think I might have overridden stuff. All right, we're just on another ad break, so we'll go back to here. We have Socks down here. She's like looking really cute. She's like, yeah. So yeah, for those on YouTube wondering what's actually happening, we've got ad breaks on Twitch. Don't worry about it. We do this so no one misses out on anything. They're only for 90 seconds. So we can solve the Rubik's Cube very, very quickly. All right. I should get a Rubik's Cube that isn't so shiny. So the lights don't do what they're doing for you guys. I was not looking then when I was going to solve that. There we go. All right, we're about 16 seconds off. All right, what's the time? It is 9:10 here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo what I've done. And welcome back, everyone. Let's undo what I've done. So let's go get status. Okay. Delete all file. All right. Git checkout NearBeach serializers. I'm just going to git reset hard. It's fine. We haven't lost much. Don't worry about it. So, yes, I stupidly overwrit this. All right. This is fine. This is perfectly fine. We can extend this particular thing, this particular model as we go along. Yeah, it's fine. So what we want to do is we want to scroll down here. We want to essentially under the API, we're going to go File, New. We're going to go Kanban card API view .py. All right, cool. And we're going to open up the board one again just for reference. From REST framework.generics, we're going to get object and so forth. That from REST framework, we're going to import the view sets. Whoa. All right. From REST framework, I don't know what happened then. We're going to import the view sets. And the statuses. Yeah, she does. Honestly, I think she's trying to copy what I do, because I'll stare at that. Also explains why she wants to sit on the mouse and sit on the keyboard. However, there's been times where I've been playing games and she's been staring at the screen. Her favorite color would be red. So if there's a lot of red on the screen and stuff like that, she'll actually watch it. All right, now she's just cleaning herself. Thanks, Socks. Everyone wanted to see that. Then from NearBeach.models, we're just going to import our usual sort of Kanban board. Kanban card. I'm not going to worry too much at the moment. We can keep adding stuff in. And then from NearBeach.serializers.Kanban card serializer, import the Kanban card serializer because we'll need that. All right, we've got our class Kanban card view set, and that will be view. Oops. There'll be a view set. I keep doing that. Dot model view set. And then in here, we've got the query set equals the Kanban card.objects.filter. And that will be is deleted equals false. Easy done. And then we've got the serializer class. And I'm just double checking that that's the serializer class. And that will be the Kanban card serializer. So we now need... that's her mouse and keyboard. She just, yeah, pretty much. Usually she'll sit in the bed too, but considering Max is in there, she's like, I'll let him this time. She's not happy about it. She absolutely hates it, but she puts up with Max. All right, we're going to do the CRUD. So we've got the self. We'll have the requests, the args, and the quags come through. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go return status dot HTTP 500 internal server error. And the reason why we're going to do that is because we haven't set up anything. We're just setting up the basic view set at the moment and getting everything connected up. We don't even have the permissions. And then we got the set destroy self. And then request. Did I write destroy right? No, I didn't. Destroy. We've got the request, we've got the args, and we've got the quags. And then once again, we're just going to return the status HTTP 500. Yeah, done. Everyone will be happy about that. We've got our list. So that will be request, args, and quags. And that will return status.http 500, and then we've got our retrieve. You know what? I'm just going to copy this. This is perfectly fine doing it like that. So we've got our basic setup at the moment, and I'm happy with it. We'll need to implement the permissions for it, which means we'll need to actually probably create a special permissions file for it. That will check for the parent object and go, does the user have access to this parent object? And that shall be pretty easy to actually do. Unless... Sorry, give me a couple of seconds. Unless I've done something smart before in the past. Probably not. I haven't done something smart in the past. So, yeah. Don't worry about that. Alright. Let's get this connected. Let's make sure it works. So in here, I'm just going to close this. That's perfectly fine. In here, what we're going to do, router.register. We're going to go Kanban card. And that's going to be Kanban. Ooh, we need to import this. So we're going to go up here. We're going to go down here. And we're going to go Kanban card API view. Like so. I think, what was it, 36? Kanban card API view, and then Kanban card view set. Base name is going to be the Kanban card. Easy done. I don't need that thing at the very, very end. So that should connect up all the routing. If we go to the front end, let's go localhost, all in capitals because we're yelling, API version 0, And if we go project, we'll actually get some data in here, and we're all like happy with it. We'll end up doing pagination and all that kind of stuff very shortly, if we're not handling it already. Death Wish coffee, a 3x the caffeine, and one of the smoothest brews ever. No, ooh, fair enough. I can only have one coffee a day. I don't metabolize it as fast as everyone else, which is both annoying. It's both annoying and good at the same time because I like the taste of coffee. However, it also means that one cup of coffee will last me all day. So yeah, I won't complain about that. Yeah, one cup of coffee lasts me all day. If I have anything after 10 PM, I'm just up really, really late. If I have my coffee too strong, because I've got a stovetop espresso thingy, if I put too much coffee in there, I'm up late. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get back to this Kanban card. We should get a 500. That's perfectly fine. We know that's going to be fine. Essentially, we now got to think how we want to actually solve this. Because this Kanban card belongs under a parent object. And I'm just trying to think how we did this for sprints. And that's where we get back to the sprints. So I am in here, going to click on this. I'm going to scroll all the way up to the users. I'm going to click on team leader. Wrong users. I want token. I want team leader. I want to double click on that. I want to go over here. We want headers. I want to do that to that, and I just want to hit that. All right. Socks' head is in the way, so excuse me. That's unfortunate. It worked the other way for me. Caffeine usually makes me sleepy. Death Wish relaxes me. Like, oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, too much coffee and I'll be bouncing around. I know that for a fact because I once had 3 coffees in a day and I had so much energy. It was awesome. But did I sleep? No, I didn't. I think I stayed up to see not only the sunrise the next day, but I got to see it past the meridian. Meridian. Yep, meridian. All right, cool. And I was like, whoop, whoop. I was also in my 20s, so that was perfectly fine. I don't want to do that nowadays. So this gets a list of all the sprints. In this sort of case, we're dealing with a Kanban board. And I'm kinda inclined that we need to put in the Kanban board ID. Yeah, so give me a couple of seconds whilst I think this through, because we want to set this up properly for the Kanban cards, because what we do for the Kanban cards we're doing for the other child items. And yeah, the sprints were like this. I'm just wondering if we want to have it at that level, or should we feed it that extra detail? Sorry, socks. Yeah, you're pressing on this stuff again. What I mean is, should I feed through the Kanban board ID? Part of me is leaning on that. And it's something we could do very, very easily. it shouldn't be a problem to do. So, what I mean is, in the URL, instead of having API version 0 Kanban card to get the list, it'll be Kanban board /1. So, there's our data for that one. And then we just go up here, Kanban card, and then we get the details from the card number 2. That is on just all the list of all the cards in there. And I'm just wondering if that is a smart idea, or I should just go and say no. I'm trying to remember if we had this discussion on Discord. I don't think we had this discussion on Discord. And yeah. These are child objects. It shouldn't be too hard to actually do. So what we'll do is Kanban board, then we do a /, and then I'm going to do another / there, and then we'll have down here the Kanban board ID. It's going to be 0 to 9. And plus, it's going to be like that. That could work. And then we go over here. And then we get no result back. So I'm just refreshing the server here. All right, waiting for connection. 0 issues. All right, cool. So we're going to hit refresh. Oh, it might not like it. Yeah, it might not like it. So, okay. Not a problem. Might be an order of things. Sorry, I just breathed in hair. Sorry about that. Oh, actually, no, I've done an screwed up. That's meant to be a capital P. There. So it's going to be like that. So it's capital P, angle brackets, the ID, and then the square brackets. I literally had 3 large mugs of coffee over a liter and was so sleepy I couldn't keep my eyes. Oh, wow. Yep. I don't know how you guys do it. Yeah, once again, 1 cup of coffee lasts me all day. I am lucky if I have a nap. Now, this looks like it works. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to change that status. I'm actually going to get it to return a response with the list. All right, we're going to remove that. We're going to go return response. Oh, we haven't actually put in response. This is number 21. Do from REST framework dot response import response. All right, and then we can go to 22, and then we've got response, and then we've got data equals, and then we're going to have pain. Just my default sort of response. You know how I like it. And then we're going to have the 200 come back. Sorry, Sox's hair is flying everywhere. And I just breathe it in like there's no tomorrow. Alright. So, it looks like this is connected up. I kind of like this. And the reason goes with... it's like a double checking method. It's like, alright, cool. So, We're going to pass through the parent object ID. We can use that to actually check to, you know, get what we need out of this. Am I a smoker? No. No, I don't smoke. Where was I? So yeah, we've got to make sure that the Kanban cards are part of the Kanban board, the correct Kanban board and stuff like that. Just actually having Kanban cards, having a list of Kanban cards would be pretty hard to actually do. So yeah, I reckon this is how we do it. We just have these child items set up like this. Looks like a cigarette on your desk. Oh, right here? If you talk about this, it's just a whiteboard marker. So yeah. It's also pretty big for a cigarette, so yeah. And thank you very much for the follow, Cam Werview. I do apologize if I got your name wrong. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I do hope you are enjoying my content. No, fair enough, fair enough. I would like to say I just blame my camera. It isn't the best quality camera, so yes, I will happily say, yep, you guys, it does look like a cigarette. Alright, going forward, we are going to do the parent object with parent ID, and then we're going to do the Kanban card. Alright. I'm going to have some water. And we're going to move forward with this. We're going to get the list working first. But I want to... I'm going to put a little breakpoint there. And I'm going to hit refresh. So, one thing we're going to do is we're going to check to make sure that the user has permissions for this particular object. The reason why I've done this is so I can actually jump into here to see what's in the quags and args and stuff like that and be able to go, alright, cool, we can use that in the permission checker. I think that the child elements will probably need a custom sort of permission checker. Just because we're looking for the parent object and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Alright. And here's Socks again. There you go, sweetie. You're on camera. She's like, finally. So, I'm going to have a look at what we've done already. So, not the serializers. I'm going to minimize the serializers. We're going to look at the decorators. We're going to have a look at the check user permission. We're going to have a look at the API sprint permission. We do actually have object data permission, but we don't have anything for destination. And this is object data, so no, we don't want to use that anyway. We do have permissions, but once again, we don't have anything for destination. And oh, it's gonna, yeah, this is a hack job to get this one to work. Yeah, in the future, what we'll do... Actually, no, this one will work perfectly fine. This is just the check user AI permissions. API, not AI. Where am I? Alright, so down here we need from NearBeach dot. This is part of the decorators dot check user permission dot API permissions version 0. Import, that will be this particular function up here, the check APIs. No, wrong one, no. It'll be part of check user API permissions. And then we just go down here. And then we type in check user API permissions. And then I think we need minimum permission level, and this is a 1. And that's it. Now I'm just going to hit play on this particular thing. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to also move the camera to my sort of level because Socks is now sniffing Max and she's giving him the glowy eyes, being like, you bastard, stole my place. We're going to... Alright. Yep, so... we've broken something in here. So I'm just going to click on one of those. We are just going to hit refresh. We're on here. We're just going to go forward. We're going to go forward. So we've got Kanban board and 1. In here, it will be if the URL is that, if the URL, because it's 3 in there. All right, so greater or equal. I don't know if that will work. It's probably going to break something else. Once again, we'll actually, in 032, we'll be redoing a lot of these permissions and making sure that they're all going to work. The good news is, because a lot of the sort of requests are going to be API requests, we'll actually do a in-depth sort of research on what the API is going to call and what the sort of values are going to be and all that kind of stuff. We're going to do quite a lot of research on this. And then we will probably set up an appropriate level of abstraction to sort of make this work. So I'm just going to hit refresh. So we're down here, we've got the pane results again, and we're like, yay! Now I am going to right hand click and I am going to test that on the team member. Authentication not provided. Yay! We're going to duplicate this tab. User hasn't logged in. That's it. Alright, we're going to hit refresh. You do not have permission for this action. Perfect. Alright, so this is going to work for us. Which is great news for us. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to... yeah, definitely close that. I am going to reopen that. Sorry. And now we're going to do the list. So from here, what we want to do is we want to grab a list of all the Kanban cards that are connected to this particular object. So first thing is what we want to do is get the Kanban board ID. We don't know what that is going to be, so we're just going to do that for the moment. And we're going to put a breakpoint there because I just want to refresh this. Hit that. And go, all right, cool. What can I get from here? So with our quags, and args, I am just going to move across. So with our quags, we've got the Kanban board ID. So I'm just going to go quags, Kanban board ID. That's it. That's all we need. And then what we can do is we can get a list of all the cards. So we'll have... how are we doing this in other places? I want to keep similar language between each one. So I'm going to open up the Kanban board. We're going to go all the way down to the list. So we're getting the page sizes to... Alright. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put this off to there. We are going to grab 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to grab those 4. I don't think we'll need this. I'm just going to put that in a comment at the moment. We don't need the object assignment results. What we need is the Kanban card results equals the Kanban card.objects.filter. We want to remove all that is deleted. And then we need the Kanban board ID equals, and this is where we go quags, Kanban board ID. Easy done. From there, what we need to do is the serializer, spelt in the American way. Kanban board serializer. And card results many equals true. And then we are sending back the results. So we're just going to delete that. We've got the response. And then we've got the, I'm just going to go data, serialize.data, and then the status equals HTTP status.http 200. Okay. All right. Oh, that's meant to be Kanban card serializer. All right. And we've just hit our ad break. So yeah, welcome back everyone to our ads. I hope you guys are going well. So yeah, man, my shoulder feels weird when I do that. Yeah, ooh. Sorry, the bad shoulder. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. This is going to be the last ad break of this evening. So yeah, it's almost 10 p.m. here. It's going to be 20 minutes. I'm going to push back the last thing, and then we'll find someone to raid. I think I know who I want to raid tonight. I didn't mean to undo that. Is he still running? Oh. Okay. I think I know who to raid. So yeah. No, I want the live stream. All right, live chat. All right, yeah. We've got about a couple of 10 seconds left for the ads. So yeah, that feels weird. Sorry, don't mind me. All right, and welcome back everyone. Let's get back into it. So we've got the serializer many equals true with the Kanban card results feeding into there. We don't know what we're going to get, probably pain, but we'll find out. Oops, I just did that. And yeah, that works perfectly fine. So we've got the Kanban card ID, we've got the Kanban text, we've got the card description, we've got the card sort number. Now in here, what we also have is project task and requirement. You might be wondering why. Some Kanban cards can actually be a linked object, and essentially if it is a linked object, it would display the project or task or requirement ID in there. Now we've got the IDs, that's working perfectly fine. We've got the card text, which will be replicated to those particular project tasks and requirements. However, you won't be able to update those particular cards if they have an item in project task or requirement. This is going to be a bit difficult when we do the CRUD. So in specific cases, if the particular object is a linked object, you can only really update the sort number, the card priority, and the Kanban level and stuff like that. Now, I'm just realizing with an API, it's going to be hard for users to determine what the sort is. So when we move stuff, we are going to get the people not to actually enter stuff in. So, oh, yeah. Oh, but however, that being said, if the card moves from, I'm going to put it as blank field. All right, cool. So, what am I just, thinking about? If we actually jump into a Kanban board, let's actually open up this. Let's move this to the left. Let's hit the network. Let's just delete everything from the network. I'm going to move this in here, but I'm going to put it in place of number 2. If we have a look at the move card, we've got the new card column, which is number 1. We've got new card level, which is also number 1. Don't worry about that. They're just number 1s by fluke. Then we got the new destination is number 3. A new destination is number... so yeah, with the new destination, what it does is it sends through essentially the card ID. So this is number 3 and number 1 to the back end to be like, all right, this is the sort order. We've got to figure out how to do that. So originally what we actually had was we used to put everything in there and do deltas and all that kind of stuff. But when you're moving stuff around really, really quickly, that doesn't work very well. So what we ended up falling back on is having numbered cards and letting the front end sort the sort order out. So it just sends that sort order to the back end. Be like, yeah, it's in this particular sort order. We're going to enable the new destination sort still, but we're just not going to tell the end user that they need to use it. Yeah, it's... I've got to think about that properly. Because if we're moving everything into the API, so this Kanban information move card is also going to move yeah, potentially an optional field. I'm also thinking, can I do this in a smart way where I just send back its location in the stack? And then we get those cards relevant to that and just update everything like that. But I feel like that's going to be a problem. I think we already do that anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I could have an order field. And we just get the order in and stuff like that, but we'll have to check the order. And what I mean by that is we don't want people sending back random sort of stuff, being like, all right, cool, I want card 3, 2, and 1 in there. 2 doesn't exist in this case. So we kind of want to check that before we apply the sort order. Because we don't want to partially sort. And that's easy. What we do is we go, all right, cool, any of the cards that are in this, does length of the array both equal the same, then perfect. Not a problem to do that. So, yes. I think that would work. So, what we'll send back is the card, much like how we're doing at the moment. So, the new column, the new level, and then we just have an order array in there, much like how we got right now. And we just double check everything, because with this particular system, I don't think we check that at the moment, because we kind of assume that the user won't edit any of these and stuff like that, but that is something that they can do. However, we can't assume that the user will get it correct with the API, and we need that extra level of care. However, we could, if the card does move and stuff like that, and they mix up the order and stuff like that, we can send back a response being like, hey, you got the order wrong. However, we have moved your card anyway. We've just placed it at the end, which could work. Yeah. So I'm just having a good think. So yeah, if they don't put in a sort order, we assume it goes to the end. What we can do is we can grab all the cards that are inside that column level and just grab the max value out of it. and just add one. That way, if there is, let's say there's a, let's say two sort of card moves happen around about the same time and they're both modifying the database slightly after each other and stuff like that. That way, that shouldn't have too much of a problem with the sort ordering. And that would be a very rare case. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so yeah, we're going to do that, and that way this pretty much stays the same, the front end, contact, and the back end with the move. Yeah. Now, it's also the fields we're going to worry about that we currently don't have. So currently we've just gotten these particular fields, however there's a lot more data in the database and stuff like that. So if we actually go into the backend, into the backend, and we just go Kanban cards, we're going to open up a random card. Now I am going to say sorry for 30 seconds. I do need to go to the bathroom. I will be back. You guys get to see Max do his thing. So yeah, I will be right back. Alright, terribly sorry about that. I am back. Max is late, huh? What am I doing? Okay, absolutely forgot what I was going to be doing. Oh yes, we're looking at this. So we've got some details here, but when we have a look at the card information itself, we've then got the description, which yeah, is that. I'm just going to close that one. We don't need it anymore. We've got the notes, which is something completely different. We don't need that at the list level. And we've got the users. We don't need that at the list level, so we can add in a user. Let's say these two users. Boom, they're in there. We've got the downloads. That doesn't need to be happening at this particular level. And oh, wrong thing. And we've got the MISC, which doesn't need to happen at this level. So yeah, we really just need this bit of data here, which we already have. So there's our date creator, there's our Kanban card text. We've got our ID. We've got whether it is connected to something, which we do actually require. I'm also wondering, because if we open up this and then open up, ooh, VueJS, hang on, sorry, npm run watch. Sorry, we need a developer sort of mode of VueJS. So we're just going to create it. It won't take very long. And then we go over here, we go refresh. Have that bug, we go close, open, we go view, go in here. We've got the Kanban here, and we've got the card results in here. Oh, we need tag list. Okay. All right. So that will actually need to be done. And the reason being is when we actually get that data, we can then, yeah, feed it through here. So, but it's if we open up this, we've actually got tag list, and then we've got a bunch of tags in here, like set up like these particular sort of objects. That's actually Kanban card ID. Yep. 10. Yeah. All right. It's a good that I actually started on the Kanban board. Sorry, on the Kanban cards, because I got a bunch of stuff in here that I do, which I think is a good sort of challenge to get back into this. And remember, we're going to be replacing our old API, in quotation system, with the Django REST framework. So, yes. Okay. Alright, I'm going to double check one thing. So we're going to jump up a level. So if we jump up a level, we've got the Kanban board. We've actually got the Kanban board stuff in here. And then what we've got is we've got the Kanban card, and we've got the Kanban cards and stuff like that. So we've got everything on the Kanban board to set up a Kanban board, or for a user to understand what levels and columns and all of that are required on a Kanban board. And we're setting it up this way so that it is a one source of truth, so the user doesn't need to actually get multiple different results for, let's say, the Kanban columns, the Kanban level, and then the Kanban cards and stuff like that. Now, the best news is if we expand the Kanban cards, we could potentially do what we do over here with this data. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit refresh. So we've got the Kanban information. It's a big response. So if we untick this, here's the big response. If we scroll down to here, we've got the Kanban card results. So I think we pass through the tags in here. So we can look at how we deal with tags at the correct level. Alright, so what I want to do, I want to see how I've done that in the past. I can close that. I am going to minimize this. We are almost running out of time, but we'll go a little bit over. That's fine. I don't mind about that. Then we want the Kanban board, or the Kanban views, I should say. We want to scroll down to the Kanban information. Kanban information, so we're getting the data. So user level, Kanban results equals all of that, order by. All right, tag results equals all of that. And then Kanban card. Okay. So it looks like I might have been mistaken. tag results are down here. Ah, all right. I must connect them up in the front end. Ew. Okay. If I go over into the tag results over here, so tag assignment, object ID in, and then the Kanban card results, values, the Kanban card ID. All right, cool. All right, this gives me some thinking to do, because if I can get the tags into the Kanban card API, that would be good, because then the front end doesn't need to handle that sort of information. I'm not doing another call. I can feed the information through at the Kanban board level, however, not the best thing to do. So yeah, all right. I'm going to call it there tonight. It is 10 o'clock. Essentially, I've got to run. All right. I know who I want to raid. They're on pause. Oh. How long have they been on pause for? Right. Sorry, I'm just seeing their stream. I'm going to risk it. I do apologize if they don't turn up anytime soon, but I've got to make sure that they are... the Deutsch. Damn it. Alright, no problem. There you go. We've got to back up. I think they raided once. That's why I know. Oh well. Next time. I'll watch one of their streams. See if they are talking in Deutsch. If they are, then well. Anyway, thank you very much everyone for coming tonight. It has been wonderful. I am going to pause the music, and yeah, I shall see you guys next week when we continue this. Hopefully I have time on the weekend to look more into the API for this, because that way I can be a little bit more prepared and decisive on how I want to actually tackle this problem. I also want to get this, the child elements done before the month's end, so yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, and yeah, enjoy the next stream. And for those on YouTube, thank you very much for coming along. Sadly, you won't be able to join our our raid, but don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.